My family tried to force me to take in my deadbeat brother. So I taught them a lesson they'll never forget. He thought he could move in, big mistake. At a family dinner, my parents told me my brother would move in. But they didn't know I sold my house a month ago. I swear, I almost dropped my fork. It was supposed to be a casual family dinner. Just me, my parents, and my brother, Brian, with his 2 kids. I should have known better. Mom cleared her throat, smiling way too wide. Sweetheart, we have some exciting news. Dad nodded. Your brother and the kids will be moving in with you next week. I blinked. Once. Twice. Brian just smirked, stabbing a piece of steak. Yeah, man. It'll be great. You got all that space, and the kids love your place. I looked between them, trying to process. They weren't asking. They were telling. Like I was just supposed to accept it. Like my home was theirs to do with as they pleased. I didn't say anything. Not yet. I just sat there, watching Brian talk like this was already a done deal. Watching my parents nod along, as if it was their decision to make. They had no idea. No idea that a month ago, I signed the final papers. That my house, the house they were planning to dump Brian in, was already sold. And I wasn't about to tell them. Not yet. I just smiled, taking a slow sip of my drink. Oh, really? I said, voice calm. That's interesting. Brian chuckled. Come on, dude. It's not a big deal. You got plenty of room. Besides, I'm struggling right now. You know that. Family helps family, right? Right. Like the years of me paying for his rent, his groceries, and his never-ending bad decisions didn't count. Like family only mattered when he needed something. I glanced at my parents. Mom was already pulling out her phone. I'll send you the list of things Brian and the kids will need. Oh, and we should schedule a moving day. That's when I knew. They weren't just springing this on me. They had planned it. Behind my back. They had talked. Made decisions. Arranged everything. All without me. Something in my chest went cold. I could have said something right then. Dropped the bomb. Told them there was no house, no space, no plan for Brian to freeload off me again. But I didn't. Because now? Now, I wanted to see their faces when the truth hit them. So I just smiled. And waited. Because when moving day came, they were going to lose their minds. I woke up to the sound of vibration. The phone pulsed on the nightstand, displaying 8 missed calls from my mother. Well, here it begins. I reached out, picked up my phone, and lazily scrolled through the messages. Mom, good morning, dear. Smiling face with hearts. I ordered a new sofa for the living room. It should fit in your guest room. I hope you don't mind. Mom, also, don't forget to buy some baby stuff. You don't have any toys. Brian is so worried that the kids will get bored. Pensive face. Mom, you're not answering. Is everything okay? I chuckled. They really thought I would swallow it in silence. I didn't answer. Because I knew that the longer I remained silent, the stronger the blow would be. Underscore 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 underscore. Underscore 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 underscore. In the evening, I stopped at the supermarket for groceries. They stood at the entrance. Brian was flipping through his phone with a smug look. The kids were playing with toy cars. Mom was actively saying something to him, and Dad was just nodding. As soon as they saw me, my mother clapped her hands in joy. Oh, here he is. We were just waiting for you. I slowly approached. You? Were waiting for me? Yes. Mom smiled. We wanted to discuss the best way to arrange Brian's things. We were thinking of putting the crib in your bedroom, and you can have the sofa we ordered. I almost laughed. In my bedroom? They really decided to evict me from my own house for Brian? But I didn't let myself get carried away. He simply nodded. Good plan. Brian chuckled. I knew you'd understand, brother. I'd do the same thing if I were you. I would never do that. But I just shrugged. When are you planning to move? This Sunday. Mom beamed. We've thought of everything. You're a miracle that you agree. I smiled. Sunday. That very day when they realize that their plan is a dud. I even helped them load the bags into the car, watching Brian laugh in relief, confident that I would let them use me again. They thought they were playing chess, but in reality they were playing Russian roulette. And I waited for the trigger to be pulled. Sunday came faster than I expected. I woke up to the sound of my phone buzzing nonstop. Mom, 7:02 a.m., good morning, sweetheart. Smiling face with hearts, we're on our way. Can you help Brian unload the truck? Mom, 7:15 a.m. Make sure you clear some space in the garage. Brian has a lot of stuff. Mom, 7:30 a.m. Are you still sleeping? We're almost there. I smirked, stretching in bed. Still no response from me. Still no clue. Let them come. I got up, made myself a slow cup of coffee, and sat by the window, watching the street below. Then I saw them. A massive moving truck pulled up in front of my old house. Brian stepped out first, sunglasses on, grinning like he just won the lottery. Mom and Dad followed, looking pleased with themselves. The kids tumbled out of the back seat, laughing. I could almost hear their thoughts. Look at all this space. He won't say no now. He'll just have to accept it. Except, there was one little problem. It wasn't my house anymore. I sipped my coffee, watching as Brian confidently marched up to the front door, juggling his keys. He tried the lock. Nothing. He frowned. Tried again. Still nothing. Then he turned, confused, looking around. That's when they saw the sign. Sold. New owners moving in soon. Mom's face drained of color. Dad blinked, like he couldn't process what he was seeing. Brian. Oh, Brian. His jaw dropped. He turned towards my parents, then back to the sign, then back to the truck full of all his stuff. Then, finally, he pulled out his phone. And my phone lit up with a call. I let it ring. Then again. And again. I smiled. They thought I was waiting inside, ready to welcome them. They thought they had everything under control. They thought wrong. My phone kept buzzing. Brian, 8:05 a.m. Dude. What the hell? Brian, 8:07 a.m. Why is there a sold sign in front of your house? Mom, 8:08 a.m. Sweetheart, call me. There's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? Oh, no. They understood perfectly. I took my time finishing my coffee before finally answering. Hey, I said, keeping my voice casual. What the hell is going on? Brian's voice exploded through the speaker. Where are you? I chuckled. Not there. Silence. Then Mom's voice came on, softer, desperate. Honey, we're standing outside your house, and there's a sold sign. Please tell me this is a mistake. No mistake, I said. I sold it a month ago. Silence. Then oh chaos. Brian. What? Mom, you sold it? Dad? Without telling us? I leaned back in my chair, grinning. I didn't know I had to, I said. It was my house, after all. Brian's voice was pure rage. You're kidding me, right? Where the hell are we supposed to go? I shrugged, even though they couldn't see me. Not my problem. Mom gasped like I had just smacked her. How can you say that? We're family. Oh, now I was family. I let out a slow breath, keeping my tone calm. Funny. You didn't think I was family when you decided to move Brian into my house without asking. Silence. I could feel them struggling to come up with an excuse to spin this in their favor. Then Brian snapped. You're such a selfish piece of... I hung up. Let them stew in it. Because reality had just hit them like a truck. They had nowhere to go. And for the first time ever, I wasn't going to save them. Not even 10 seconds after I hung up, my phone lit up again. Mom, 8:12 a.m. Honey, please. We need to talk. Dad, 8:13 a.m. This is serious. Call your mother. Brian, 8:15 a.m. Answer the phone, you little blocked. I set my phone on silent and leaned back, watching the group outside my former house. Brian was fuming. His arms flailed as he yelled at our parents, probably blaming them for this. Mom looked like she was about to cry, while Dad just stood there, rubbing his temples. Then, Brian did something that almost made me choke on my coffee. He marched up to the front door and started banging on it, like the new owners were just going to open up and let him in. Oh, this was gold. I watched as a confused man in a bathrobe answered the door. Brian shoved the sold sign in his face like that would somehow reverse the transaction. I wish I could have heard what was said, because less than a minute later, the door slammed shut, and Brian turned back to our parents, completely losing it. This was it. The moment they realized they had nowhere to go. No backup plan. No house. And me? For once in my life, I wasn't their safety net. And damn, it felt good. I thought they'd leave. I thought, at some point, reality would sink in and they'd pack up their truck, accepting their fate. But no, they weren't done yet. My phone buzzed again. Mom, 8:30 a.m. Sweetheart. Please. We just need to talk. Mom, 8:31 a.m. This isn't fair to your brother. Think of the kids. Mom, 8:35 a.m. Where are you? Let's meet for coffee and work this out. I stared at that last text, shaking my head. She still thought she could fix this. like I was just throwing a tantrum and needed to be talked down. I didn't reply. Instead, I sat back and watched. Brian was pacing, running his hands through his hair, freaking out. Mom was talking to Dad, her hands moving like she was trying to come up with a new plan. And she pulled out her phone. I knew exactly what was coming. Within minutes, my phone buzzed again, Dad this time. Dad, 8:45 a.m. Look, son. Be reasonable. You can't just abandon your family. There it was. The guilt trip. The classic, you owe us speech. I smirked, typing a reply. Me? You mean like how you abandoned my opinion when you made this decision without me? No response. Just 3 little dots appearing, then disappearing. For the first time ever, they had nothing to say. Because deep down, they knew. I wasn't playing their game anymore. And the only move left was theirs. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Then 30. I thought maybe, just maybe, they'd finally accept it. That they'd pack up, drive away, and figure out their own mess. I was wrong. Because instead of leaving, they showed up at my apartment. At first, I thought I was imagining things. But then, bang bang bang. Someone was pounding on my door. I didn't even need to check the peephole. My phone buzzed. Mom, 9:30 a.m., we're outside. Please open the door. In sight. I could ignore them. Let them stew. Let them keep knocking until one of my neighbors called security. But I wanted to see their faces. I wanted to watch them squirm. So I took my time. Walked to the door slowly. Paused. Then, finally, I opened it. And there they were. Mom, looking heartbroken. Dad, arms crossed, trying to look stern. And Brian. Brian looked like he was 2 seconds away from exploding. What the hell is wrong with you? He snapped, shoving past me into the apartment. Why didn't you tell us? I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. Tell you what. That you sold your damn house. I raised an eyebrow. Oh, you mean the house you decided to move into without asking? That house. Brian's jaw clenched. Mom sighed, stepping forward with her best concerned parent look. Honey, please. Let's talk. She took that as an invitation and walked inside, Dad trailing behind. I let the door click shut. Then I smiled. All right, I said, folding my arms. Let's talk. They had no idea that they were about to lose this argument before it even started. Mom clasped her hands together like she was preparing for a speech. Honey, she started, her voice soft, like I was some stubborn child. I know you're upset, but you have to understand. Brian is in a difficult situation. He's a single father, he's struggling, and we, your family, just thought it made sense for us to support each other. Brian scoffed. Yeah, man. I thought that's what family does. I smiled. Oh, you mean like how family includes me in decisions about my own house? Silence. Dad cleared his throat. Look, maybe we handled things wrong, but you can't just leave your brother homeless. Where is he supposed to go? I tilted my head. You mean the same brother who called me selfish for not letting him move into my home? Brian's nostrils flared. Damn right you're selfish. You didn't even warn us. You just sold it and let us show up like idiots. I shrugged. You made the decision without me. I just let you live with the consequences. Mom sighed dramatically. Sweetheart, please. We don't want to fight. We just need you to help. Help? I repeated. Help how? Because I don't have a house anymore. Mom hesitated. Then, finally, she said the words I knew were coming. Well, you have this apartment. There it is. I bit back a laugh. So let me get this straight, I said slowly. You planned for Brian to move into my house. You didn't ask me. You didn't even consider my opinion. And now that your plan fell apart, you want to move him in here instead. Brian exhaled sharply. Dude, stop acting like it's a big deal. You've got an extra room. The kids can take the couch. It's temporary. I raised an eyebrow. Like the last time you needed a temporary place to stay? Silence. Because we both knew what happened last time. Brian had crashed at my place for 2 weeks. Ended up staying 6 months. Never paid a dime for rent. Trashed the place. And then left without cleaning a thing. I turned to Mom. Let me ask you something. If I had shown up to your new. Mom blinked. Well, that's different. No, I cut her off. It's not. Dad sighed. Son, you're being ridiculous. No. I said, my voice calm but firm. What's ridiculous is expecting me to sacrifice my life for Brian just because he refuses to get his own together. Brian scoffed. Oh, shut up. You act like you're better than me just because you have your fancy little job and a savings account. Yes, I said bluntly. Because I actually worked for them. His face twisted in rage. Go to hell. I smirked. Already been there, Brian. You were the tour guide. Silence. Mom sighed dramatically. So, you're really not going to help. I exhaled, letting the silence stretch. Then I smiled. Oh, I'll help. Brian's. I reached into my pocket, pulled out my wallet, and handed him a $20 bill. For gas, I said. Because you're going to need it to drive somewhere else. Brian stared at the bill like it offended him. Mom. Brian's face turned red. He snatched the bill and threw it at my chest. Go screw yourself, he hissed, storming toward the door. Mom gave me one last pleading look. You're making a mistake. No, I said. I finally stopped making them. Brian slammed the door behind him. And just like that, it was over. Or so I thought. Because the next morning, I woke up to 50 missed calls and a text from my dad that made my blood run cold. Dad, 6:45 a.m. You need to fix this. Your mother just had a breakdown. Oh. Now they were playing that card. Too bad for them. I wasn't falling for it. I stared at my phone. 50 missed calls. A text from Dad about Mom's so-called breakdown. I knew what this was. Manipulation. They were losing control, so they were pulling out every last trick. I didn't respond. But they weren't done. At exactly 7:15 a.m., the knocking started. Not banging, not furious pounding, soft, gentle taps. I sighed, already knowing who it was. Mom stood there. Eyes red like she'd been crying all night. Sweetheart, she whispered. Please, just talk to me. I leaned against the doorframe. We already talked. Her lip trembled. I don't understand how you can be so heartless. There it was. I almost laughed. Heartless. Because I finally said no. I crossed my arms. Oh, I don't know, Mom. Maybe because you all planned to move Brian into my house without asking? Maybe because, for years, I've been the only one bailing him out while he never once took responsibility. She sniffled. But he's your brother. In sight. She froze. Because she knew the answer. Nowhere. Not when I struggled in college. Not when I had to work 3 jobs to keep myself afloat. Not when I had nothing. Brian. But now that he needed me? Now suddenly, we're family. Mom let out a shaky breath. I just don't want to see our family fall apart. I looked her dead in the eyes. She swallowed hard. So that's it? You're just walking away? No. Her face crumbled. She nodded slowly, then wiped her eyes. I hope you don't regret this, she whispered. And then she left. For the first time in my life, I watched her walk away instead of me. I took a deep breath. And for the first time in years, I felt free. Or so I thought. Because Brian had one last trick up his sleeve. At exactly 8:30 a.m., my phone buzzed. A notification popped up. Brian has tagged you in a post. Oh, this was going to be good. I clicked the notification. Brian had tagged me in a Facebook post. And not just any post, a long, dramatic, full-blown sob story. Brian, 8:30 a.m., it's heartbreaking when your own family turns their back on you. When you're struggling, when you have kids to take care of, you expect your brother to be there. But I guess money changes people. Some people would rather see their own blood homeless than lift a finger to help. It's disgusting. But that's okay. I'll survive. I always do. Oh, my God. I actually laughed. The manipulation. The fake victim act. The absolute audacity. And the best part? The comments section was on fire. Aunt Lisa, wait, didn't Opie help you before? Weren't you living in his house a few years ago rent-free? Cousin Jake, bro, you've had a job for years. How are you still broke? Brian's old coworker, LMAO dude, you got fired for stealing office supplies. Don't act like you're some victim. It was beautiful. Brian had exposed himself without even realizing it. I let it sit for an hour. Let the comments pile up. Let Brian dig his own grave. Then, finally, I responded. Me, 9:45 a.m. Brian, you didn't ask me for help. You told me you were moving into my house without my permission. When I sold it, you tried to move into my apartment instead. You've never once taken responsibility for your own life. And now that I finally said no, I'm the bad guy? You need to grow up. Silence. No response. The comments started turning against him. Uncle Steve, damn. That's embarrassing, Brian. Some random friend. Bro, delete this before more people see it. And then, the post disappeared. Brian deleted it. Checkmate. underscore 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 underscore. That was 6 months ago. Mom and Dad stopped calling as much. We're civil, but the dynamic has changed. They know I'm not their safety net anymore. And Brian? Oh, Brian. Last I heard, he was couch surfing at a friend's place. Still blaming everyone but himself. Still waiting for someone to save him. But that someone will never be me again. And let me tell you, it feels incredible.